article for someone else's blog. It's a great way to connect with new readers and get your name out whilst also securing a backlink back to your website. It's actually my favourite method, as you're able to get links within a few days, which is a massive win. The beauty of guest posting is that as you're writing the content yourself, you're able to pick that anchor text as well. This is super powerful, as like I said in the anchor text video, if you realise you're getting too many of any certain anchor types, then you want to avoid getting more of them, as it can look unnatural. With guest posting, you can do just this. You want to get guest post opportunities on sites that are relevant to what you do. Now, it doesn't have to be a like-for-like site, but the site should at least be in the same industry as yours. For example, if I was to try and get a link on another floor installation company, that would be quite difficult. However, what I can do is take one step back and try and secure a link on a home improvement website, as new flooring in your home obviously comes under the home improvement niche. Getting links from sites in the same niche as you helps tremendously when it comes to increasing the niche relevancy of your website, which, as you should know by now, is super important when ranking on Google. And like I said, it's a great way to connect with new readers and get your name out there. Right, so how do we find these guest post opportunities? So it's pretty simple when you use Google search operators. So a Google search operator is something you search in Google with a little variation. So for example, I have niche submit a guest post. This is what we call a Google search operator, as I've included speech marks in the search. So niche would simply be the niche you operate in, and then you simply want to put speech marks, submit a guest post, close speech mark. So this is a very handy one. There's another 4 more I'll show you. You can have a niche and then just go for guest post. You can also use niche guest post by. We can go for niche accepting guest post, and lastly we can have niche write for us. So typically sites that accept guest posts, what they do, they'll have a page on the site talking about how you can submit a guest post, the guidelines you need to follow, why you might want to write for us, such as bragging about how big the audience is, for example. So we can use these operators to find more guest post opportunities for our businesses. So let's head over to Google right now and show you exactly how we do this using the first example, which should be niche submit a guest post. So we're now over on Google, and we're going to carry a search out for the first search operator. So that was niche submit a guest post. So for me, my niche is going to be home improvement. So I'm going to simply search for home improvement, submit a guest post. So the reason why I'm putting submit a guest post in speech marks is when you do this, you are telling Google to only return websites which mention submit a guest post on them. So it helps you sieve out all the sites which don't actually accept that guest post in the first place. So as you can see, straight off the bat, there is tons of sites here which offer guest posts as a submission. So you can see I've got SarahRussellInteriors.com, I've got Home Improvement, thehelpcenter.com, easyhomeimprovement.co.uk, I've got pat.org.uk. So again, tons of opportunities. And if you actually go further back on Google and go to page 2, you'll see there's even more opportunities here as well. So if you click one of the sites, for example, I'll just show you what they typically say. So typically when you click one of these pages, it's going to be a page giving you advice on how to submit one and just the information you need to follow. So some guidelines and requirements. So you can see on Sarah Russell, if you scroll down, here's some advice: do some proper research, write a piece of high quality content. They even give you some information about what to do in your title, so make sure it's attractive. They even give you some advice on the amount of words you should have in your guest post. So tons of information on here as well. And if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see you have some contact details to get in touch with the owner of the site and submit your guest post. However, before we do that, we want to determine if the site is a good site. As like I said in the last video, you don't want to be getting links off sites that aren't good. So to check if the site is good, we're going to be using the same 5 criteria as we went through in the last video. So Whilst I'm on the site, let's go and look at other articles she's posted just to get a feel of how they'll look. So let's open that in a new tab. We'll go for her interior category. And this will show me all of her articles to do with home interior. So we have the art of growing indoor trees, 5 common interior painting mistakes to avoid. You can see bespoke storage solutions. So again, before we even click into the articles, you can see a site is updated frequently. We have an article in January, which is this month. We have one in December. We have 2 in November. But we actually have 3 in November, so this is good. This is all good signs. So let's look at this article as an example. We can see the article is obviously about painting, and straight away we have an image at the top, which is a painter sitting down, drinking maybe some tea or coffee, who knows? Could even be a smoothie, who knows? But essentially, as you can see, the image is relevant to what the article is about, which is good. We can see the content is nicely formatted. It's very nice and clean. As well, very easy on the eyes. And you can see at the bottom, it says this article was brought to us by Grand Rapids Painters over at Hillis Brothers. So this could potentially be a guest post that these guys have submitted to her site. So this is all good things, as you can see how your guest post would potentially look as well. So if we go ahead now and look at the domain authority and the page authority, so we can use the same Moz Chrome bar extension. Let's give that a click. You'll see the page authority is 21 and the domain authority is 25. So as discussed in the previous video, typically we like to get links from sites that have at least a page and domain authority of 30 and above. However, whilst this is a general rule, you can go below that if you feel the site is relevant. The number 30 isn't a hard rule. It's just a guide to ensure we can filter out the majority of the low quality sites. So there wouldn't be any harm in getting a link from a domain authority 20 site if it's super relevant. It could just be a case where that site, for example, hasn't done any SEO. However, they could have a big fan base on social media. However, on the flip side, if the site was domain authority 20 and it wasn't relevant to what we do at all, I wouldn't advise you get a link from it. For example, if I'm a plumber and this site was about financial, maybe tax returns and stuff like that, that isn't relevant, so I wouldn't go ahead and get a link from that. So page authority 21 is 9 points lower. It's not the end of the world. It's 9 points. It's not that big. Domain authority 25 is only 5 points below. So far, everything seems pretty good to me. So now what I want to do is go over to SEMrush and check out the site's traffic and to see how many keywords it appears for. So let's do that now. Go to SEMrush and plug in the URL and click search. Right, so the information has now populated, and as we can see, organic search traffic a month are getting 8 visitors, which is extremely low. Typically you want to go for links on sites that have at least 200 visitors a month. So again, 8 is extremely low. You can drop it and go to 100 to be fair, if you want to give it a little bit more leeway. However, 8 is extremely low. So the fact they have such little traffic means they're probably going to appear for not that many keywords. So as you can see, they appear for 37 keywords. So 37 is not the lowest. However, as the site is on page 1 and it's at the top of page 1, I would expect them to appear for a lot more keywords and have a lot more traffic. However, the fact they don't is not a good indication. So based on these 2 points alone, this would be a red flag, and I wouldn't actually go ahead and get a link on this site. So I'm glad this came up, as it's a good way to show you exactly how a site can look really good and clean on the surface. Articles look amazing. However, when you actually inspect the back end of the site, it's not the most promising. So let's look and find another site. Let's go for this one, pat.org.uk, for example. Let's close these tabs so the computer will be a little bit faster. So we can see they've got instructions right for us, guest login guidelines. They give you more information about the word count, which is really good. And you can see on this one, you can actually submit a guest post using the form here. So there'll be no email. So again, you can use the same template. So try and find the person's name. If you can't find a name, just simply put in the website name. So say hello, say hi Pat or hello Pat, for example. So you can fill that in. So let's look at this site. You can check previous articles, for example. If you go for the blog, let's have a look at the blog. So they've got best bathroom designs for retirees. So you could look at that one. Let's look at that one. This is the most recent. You'll see you've got an image at the top, which is relevant, which is good. Then you've got a link to bathroom, which if you check the bottom hand corner of the screen, it says housebeautiful.com. So this is linking to another website called House Beautiful, which is okay. Then we have a link to the spruce. That could be, I'm not sure what that is. Let's have a look at these links actually, just to make sure. Sometimes sites link out to other authoritative sites as a source of information. Easy to clean shower screens. This seems to be another site. So there's 3 links in this site in total. So the first link will be to this site, which is the spruce. So this potentially could be the site it's linking to. So the site that wants a guest post, I'm not too sure. Then we have this one, which is House Beautiful. Click accept on that, which I'm not too sure what this is. It could just be designer ideas. Like I said, these could just be links to other authoritative websites, which is just backing up what they say. So let's just imagine, for example, this article had one link going to one site. That would be a good sign. So the next thing to do, again, was to check page authority and domain authority. So if I check that right now, we see we have page authority 20 and we have domain authority 37. So 37 is pretty high. It's 7 points over what I recommend. Domain authority is 10 points below. However, because it's 7 points high, if you work out the difference, it's only 3 points lower. So on the whole, this is a pretty good site. Let's go ahead and check out the traffic now, which is a main thing. So let's type in pat.org and then go over to SEMrush. Oh, let's get that little dot out there and then click search. So we can see it's got 2,000 backlinks already, which is pretty good. That's a lot of backlinks to have. And you can see the site roughly has over 500 organic visitors to the site every single month, which is really good. So that's passed the test. If we scroll down as well, you can see the top organic keywords, 369, which is a decent amount of keywords. So again, this site for me would be a green light. You can also check the traffic trend on the right as well, so you can check the traffic for the last year. You can see the traffic has been stable as well. You can even check the last 2 years. Very, very stable indeed. So this site for me would be a green light. So what I would do next, I would add this site to my list. So I would copy the URL. I would go over to my guest posting opportunities template. I would plug in the website right here. I would put in the page authority, which I'm pretty sure was 20, was it? Let's just have a look at that again. Page authority 20, domain authority 37. So put in 20, and then I'll put in 37. Traffic, I'll put 500 plus. Article written, so at the moment, no. Article submitted, no. So what I need to do is now get an article written for this site that can actually get featured on the site as a guest post. So before I obviously do that, I need to then get in touch with them with my template message and figure out what I'm going to write about first. So When you use a template to track all your backlink, it makes it super important. So the idea is any site you feel like it's worthy to get a backlink of or a guest post opportunity, you want to list it here and then list out all of the metrics. So over time what will happen is you'll have about 10 different websites. You can simply look at the metrics, which is the most powerful site, which has the biggest page authority and domain authority, and then reach out to them sites. And then you know kind of what sites you're going to get links on going forward. When you have the article written and article submitted, it makes it very easy to keep track of what's going on, what articles you might have out, what ones you need to get written. As when you start doing this at scale for obviously lots of clients, if you're going to offer guest posting as a service, you're going to have tons of guest posts going out every single month. So having a template like this just makes it super easy to manage.